Welcome to the world where we teach you authentic English in an easy and fun way. One of the craziest things about learning English is the relationship between spelling and pronunciation. Spelling is really frustrating, even for native speakers, for proficient learners, and for teachers. Unlike some other languages, predicting the spelling of English words based on sound isn't always straightforward. However, there's good news. There are some patterns to learn that can make English a little less crazy, although exceptions do exist. Even though we are all grateful for spell checkers on our devices that highlight our spelling errors when we write and help us to prevent embarrassing mistakes, we think it is still worth dedicating a little bit of time to learning some spelling rules. In this video tutorial, we'll share with you 5 highly effective spelling rules that can make a significant difference in your accuracy. You will notice a great improvement in your spelling by the end of this video. Before we start, however, we kindly ask you to click on the subscribe button so you never miss out on our valuable content and our channel can continue growing. Your support means the world to us. Thank you. First spelling rule: I before E except after C. It kind of rhymes, so it's easy to remember. I before E except after C. So let's think about words that are spelled I before E. For example, friend, niece, thief. The second part of this rule is I before E except after C. And this means that after the letter C, the order switches and we write EI. A classic example is the word receive. C comes first, so I and E switch, so it's EI. Some more examples are receipt, perceive, deceit, and ceiling. Now, this is English, and there are always exceptions. Most words that seem to be exceptions to this rule have roots in Old English, such as ate, way, neighbor, slay, and weird. Another common exception is seize, which, although it does come to English from Latin through French, it actually seems to trace back to Germanic roots. Actually, there are some really common words that are spelled with EI, and it is weird, as is its spelling. Here are some words that I'm sure you know. For example, foreign, protein, height, and the one that catches out so many people is there. If you missed our video on common mistakes, which looks at confusing words such as there, and there, you can find the link here top right. And please don't forget to sign up for amazing free content. So even though we said that the rule is I before E except after C, the word caffeine is spelled EI, while the word scientist is spelled CIE. Some other words that are spelled CIE are society, ancient, and efficient. Now, that might seem like a lot of exceptions. Out of all the rules we're going to look at in this video, this is perhaps the one that has the most exceptions. So if you are ever in doubt, please make sure you double check in a dictionary. The second spelling rule is this: if a word ends in a consonant plus the letter Y, we change the Y into I before adding a suffix. A suffix is a letter or a group of letters that is added to the end of a word to create a new word. For example, when making a word plural, we change the Y to IES. For instance, story becomes stories with IES. If to the word beauty you add full, it becomes beautiful. So you change the Y to I. Also, think about beautify or beautician. Also, if you add to happy, you add ness, it becomes happiness. Also, happily, happier, or happiest. The same rule applies when turning into nouns most adjectives ending in Y. For example, empty, adjective, becomes emptiness. So you change the Y into I. Lazy, laziness. Lonely, loneliness. Tidy, tidiness. Ugly, ugliness. And of course, there are some exceptions. We don't change Y when we add endings beginning with I, like ing or ish, because there would be too many I's. So for example, studied, but studying with a Y and an I. Other examples are try, which is tried but trying with Y and I, defy, defies, but defying, and the same goes for apply, applies or applied, application but applying. So here is our next spelling rule. When a word ends in a consonant plus vowel plus consonant, we double the final consonant before adding a suffix. Consonant plus vowel plus consonant is often called CVC. You need to double the last consonant when you add a suffix like ER, ED, ING or EST. This is especially important when dealing with comparative and superlative adjectives, when dealing with the simple past tense and the present progressive or continuous. For example, mad becomes madder, nap becomes napped, win becomes winning, and big becomes biggest. For these words, we have doubled the last consonant. Now, when we add a suffix that begins with a consonant like s or ness, we don't normally double the last consonant. For example, plan plus s becomes plans, or fit plus ness becomes fitness. And here is number 4, the drop E rule. So we drop the final E before adding a suffix starting with a vowel. The drop E rule is necessary because when you have 2 vowels in a row, they typically make a new sound working as a new vowel team. For example, if you take the word bake and add the suffix ed, you drop the last E and it becomes baked. Or you add er, it becomes baker, or you add ing, it becomes baking. If you didn't drop the final E in bake, you would wind up with a strange word like bakeed or bakeer. However, if you add a consonant suffix, such as in the word hopeful, the E remains. Based on the rules of syllable division, if we drop the E in this case, the word would become hopeful. The E is still necessary to make the vowel long, but we will discuss this later. Other examples you will probably be familiar with are freely, useful, and agreement. It's a really good idea to learn how to spell and recognize common consonant clusters because English is full of these. They are a group of consonants with no vowel in between, like for example GHT. We find this cluster in many irregular past tense and past participle forms, such as bought, thought, caught, and fought. We also find it in other common words like right, tonight, ate, and height. And here also remember the first spelling rule we looked at previously. Notice how the letters G and H are not pronounced. They are silent, and this can make spelling these words correctly particularly challenging. A silent letter is a letter that, in a particular word, does not correspond to any sound in the word's pronunciation. One of the noted difficulties of English spelling is a high number of silent letters. They make the spelling of words different from their pronunciation. One of the most common silent letter is the letter E at the end of a word. It's typically silent, but actually serves an important role in indicating the pronunciation of the preceding vowel, often making it a long vowel. For instance, in the word hope, the E at the end signals that the O is pronounced as O rather than as a short vowel O, as in hop. The same, for example, is for hate and hat. Can you think of other examples? Another frequent silent letter is K when it precedes an N at the beginning of words. This combination is a remnant of Old English and is found in words like night and knee. The K was once pronounced, but over time the pronunciation shifted to a silent K. B is also silent before T and also after M. For example, doubt, tomb, lamb, or comb. The letter W gets tongue-tied around the letter R and is often silent when placed before it in words like wrestle, wrong, right, wrist, or rap. Knowing all these silent letters, which might seem a lot, will help you with your pronunciation accuracy as well. So there you have it. We have covered some very basic spelling rules. We hope you enjoyed this video and we hope you learned something useful. If you're hungry for more authentic language, please check out our videos on our channel. Please hit the like button if you like this video and we hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.